What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the We Love Gaming podcast. I believe this is episode 98. I'm your co-host, Godly Sovereign, and today with me I have Sir Knight. What's good, my man? How you doing today?
Good, man. Just recovering, man. I'm
Yeah,
in recover mode. I'm doing a
recovering from
lot
what?
better. I was sick, man. Like it had me
Oh,
out,
okay.
down
You
for
had
the
the
count,
COVID or
dude.
what?
Shoot, I don't know what I had, man. It was just
Mm,
sore throat, congestion,
mhm.
lots of mucus, just all that nastiness. But
Yeah,
I'm finally like on the tail end of this, so much better. So
that's
back in
good.
action.
How was Sam? Did she get touched or she was good?
Nah, she's fine.
She's
Yeah.
straight. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
nothing
good.
happened with
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
Dude, it's tough. That's why I ask, because sometimes it's like it's always a guarantee that you'll give your code to your baby because they always up under you. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
end up spreading it or whatever.
Yeah, I
I
don't
know
even
I
think
always
she's been
test it
sick
for my
yet.
kids. So.
I don't think
Huh?
she's even been sick yet. It's
Oh
strange.
shit! Well, you busted, dude.
I know.
Because
It's just like
that's just
it's
annoying.
just weird, man. It's like, geez, man. It's like, has this just never? Yeah. Like we might check her temperature, like it might rise for like a minute and all of a sudden goes back down. We think it's probably just teething. Like she hasn't had anything. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She's just been resilient, that little one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's still getting breastfed, right?
No.
Okay, she's on formula.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, yeah, she's really like lucking up there because there's so many like antibodies and stuff like that you would get in the breast milk that maybe she's just getting like a super amped up immune system to fight it. But hey, if that
Yeah.
formula is doing the
Been
trick, then
she's been a tough little cookie, man. No sicknesses yet. So that's been
yeah,
a
that's
blessing
good,
for
dude.
sure. But yeah, she didn't catch nothing I had. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe it's just lucky in that it's so little that her body's just,
not
it's
really
not. Yeah,
phasing
it's
it.
not like phasing it. Yeah, so it's like a
Yeah.
trickle of, how you build your immune system up slowly over time. With, you know, she's not getting overloaded. It's not like she's going in public places a lot. We at home basically all the time. Like it's very rare when she
Right.
goes out. So it might just be
Yeah,
like
that's true.
that. Might be really more what it is than like anything else. But
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
anyways,
Those outside influences.
but anyways, man, I wanted to ask you a couple things. The first thing I wanted to ask you, dude, was, well, first of all, have you platinum Elden Ring? And then the second thing I was going to ask you
Uh-huh.
is, you mentioned you went and saw that Everything Everywhere All at Once or whatever, and I saw it
Mhm.
too, and I
Right.
told you I had a few issues with it, but I wanted
Yeah.
to know like what your thoughts were on that odd movie, man. The movie was out there.
All
It's
right.
like a
So
total
first,
drug trip.
yeah, first things first. So Elden Ring, it will be the first game that I plat. And I am on the road to victory.
Dude, this
I've
platinums are the
currently
hardest thing you've ever done in your life, huh, dude?
it's taking a lot of dedication because like I've played Dark Souls like 2 or 3 times or whatever, you know what I mean, just enjoying it and just trying to get stronger, higher levels or whatever, catch things I didn't miss or catch things that I missed. With Elden Ring, I was like playing it to a certain point and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this time. And it's a long process, dude. There's like so much stuff that I didn't get or didn't do because I didn't know about it. You know what I mean? And there's no like super hit sign saying, go here. You got to look at a guide or something like that. You got to find something that's like detailing everything that you might have missed or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, you have to look at a guide. It's
And
impossible to go
yeah,
without a
and
guide.
some of
Yeah.
these areas, are so fucking big that like you like even Lindale or whatever, that main capital
Mhm.
that's like right next to the Earth Tree. Like I was going all throughout that area, but I did not know that there was like a deeper area in the sewers. And I had actually ran by that area and I was looking for something else. I was running through that area looking for the rock guy. I can't remember
Oh
his
yeah,
the
yeah,
dung
yeah, yeah.
eater,
The
the dung
dung eater.
eater.
Yeah,
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 so I was searching for his ass, and then then I searched up a video and realized he ain't even that deep in that bitch. But when I
yeah.
when I
Dude, what happened
went
with
down to
me?
that boss,
You know that section where like you go down there and there's like those crawling crap dudes,
yeah,
and they come at you, and then there's that little well, and you go down. Like I explored that. I went down that well, and I was down that little sewer, and I ran down the corridor, and there I went to my left, and there was like an item, and
mm-hmm,
then it looked like there was nothing else for me to do down there.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize that was a gate to open. Like there was like no
Okay.
indication or anything. And
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
just left. I went back out of there and I was like, okay, well, I explored down there and I was just like you do, like going around, you know, every nook and cranny because that's what you kind of do with these games. And then I was like, you serious? Like that was a tour? So I had to go back down there. I opened up that gate and that opened up like the whole sewer zone to me.
So you looked up a guide or what?
Well, because I mean, I was looking up something for all the endings and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the dung. Yeah, I was like with a dung eater, and I was like, I could have swore I went down that thing, and then I saw the guy go who I was watching the video on go down there, and he turned to his left like before he got to the end, and opened that gate up, and I was like, I didn't even stinking know like that you could even do that. Like, there's no indication. There's no. It just looks like a wall. But anyways, there was that. I agree, man. It was like very. It was not easy to find that whole section, that whole zone.
It's such a big area, and it's like multi-layered, dude. It's like, you know, you do all of that stuff up top, and you're thinking that that's it, and then you hit that sewer area, and there's like a long roundabout way to go, but that's like a big fucking maze, dude. Like that was huge.
You know, another part too, you know, when you finally get like all the items you need, and you open that one door, and it's kind of like it opens up into like the cylinder, like prisons kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, when you go out that, the spiral turns right because you just follow the spiral down.
Yeah.
But you're actually supposed to walk left and fall off that.
And fall off the little back edge. Yeah.
How would anyone like ever naturally know to do that, Trash?
Now,
man? Like, it's really frustrating.
Now, at some point, right, I did see a sign that said,
"Oh, a help sign.
Don't turn right, first left." So, like, I'm like looking down. I'm like, okay, I could go down there, and I went down there, but I did not know how much stuff was like all the way down there. So, like, dude, I don't know how deep I have to go. You know,
dude,
I thought I had gone far enough.
I went out there and I turned right because that's the direction the spiral goes, and I run to the end of that, you know, to where the stairs break, you know.
Yeah,
and you're doing that little camera shimmy, you know, you're trying
you're trying to see around edges.
You're trying to see whatever you can see.
You guys
and I was like, you know, shoot, I think I can make that jump because you can kind of see like the corridor.
It's a big gap though, yeah.
And I was like, I can make that jump.
Nah, you died from the fall.
And I ran and I jumped. And then, I died from all. I was like, dude, I don't know where I'm supposed to go next. I cleared that whole first zone. Like, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I had to go watch a stinking video just to see where to go next. And I was like, are you kidding me? I have to turn left there and fall down backwards? Like, I would never think that ever, man. Like, nothing was easy in that zone. So
yeah, and I got basically, you know, the first thing I did was the Age of Stars or whatever ending. So that's the one with Ronnie's quest line that you finish all the way. So I got the Frenzied Flame. I went down to the bottom. I found that boss that was down there. I had left that area a long time ago, and then I went to a video to find out where the actual
Frenzied Flame
bottom area was, and then it was in that boss room. So I'm like, dude, there's no indication that there's like a secret tunnel or anything like that, man. Like, how do you know? Oh, let me swing at this big throne and it's gonna just like go down. And
supposedly, if you talk to Ranny, so if you sit at the bonfire, or no, not Ranny, you talk to your maiden or whatever her name is.
Oh, okay.
She kind of gives you a hint, I guess, and you're like. She says, like,
but I rarely talk to Melania, like dude. I know. Rarely talk to
everyone was always clicking on that. I guess whenever that like little option on the bonfire
they clicked on it whenever
they would click on it whenever it was available. I wasn't even thinking to do that. I would just sit to rest or travel or whatever.
Yeah, because I'm like, I can already level my stuff up. I don't need this bitch. So like, what am I talking to her for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what was confusing too. Even when I was trying to light up the giant cauldron or whatever. Like, I got all the way to that. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I got all the way to that bonfire.
Oh, and you didn't know to go down to talk to her.
I didn't know I had to click down, talk to Randy. I'm like, I don't know what's supposed to trigger this lighting the tree up.
Yeah.
And so I had to look that up. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's a stupid talk option. How would I ever have thought to know that?
Yeah,
because it's like never told to you. And so that's the thing, man, about the game that like I mentioned this before, how almost literally unplayable it is without a community. And I feel like that game, we look past that, like we forgive it because it's such a great game. We forgive it for that almost like flaw. but at the same time, I don't know if that's also one of its kind of like indirect beauties, because because it's so obscure, and because it's such a great
You're
game,
gonna
it
miss
built
a lot
such
of
a
shit.
because it's such a great game that people come together as a community to fix all these convoluted issues with it, and you get to enjoy it, and the community ends up being like one of the coolest things about it, because like
Yeah,
so
because
many
it's
people
such
are
a huge
talking about it.
community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's talking about it, everyone's sharing you all this shared
Yeah,
interest
here's what I
in this
found.
game.
I sat here and
Yeah,
attacked the
it's
wall for
like
20 minutes and it finally disappeared type shit.
yeah,
You know
so
what I
one of
mean?
the like
Like,
yeah, exactly. So one of the like almost worst things about it ends up making something really amazing from it. And it almost elevates the game again, even like indirectly, because I think with most games it would be knocked, right? Like imagine most games. I just feel like imagine the next Assassin's Creed was like this, where like every situation you're like, what? I would have
it would
never
be
thought. I'm
frustrating.
lost. You'll be frustrated. But for some
Yeah,
reason, with this game, we come together
we
like
accept it.
joyously annoyed by it. We're like happy. Oh, I found that wall. Like we're all
Yeah.
excited about it. It's like, what? Like with any other game, we wouldn't have that grace, but with this game, we do.
And also another beautiful thing about it too is like, you know, just like I said before, like there's so much shit that I missed. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
I almost was forced to play it twice, right? Because I went all the way to the end and I didn't decide to look through my book and just like, oh, I can just platinum this bitch right now. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I went to the end to get to the end, and you know, and I didn't know like, oh, if I click Ronnie's sign message that's the end of the game. You know what I mean? Like if I had known, I probably wouldn't have touched that shit until I knew exactly what I was getting. When I touched it, I thought maybe she was gonna pop up and give me like an option. Do I want to use her? Nah, that was
Right.
it.
It immediately
That was it. Yeah,
triggers.
the
Yeah,
moment you
it
did that
triggers.
shit, she ended the
Yeah.
fucking world. Yeah, but but you know, it's just that fact that, you know, I play it one time and then I play it again, and there's so much stuff that I missed. So many different NPCs that I never saw. There's like at least 2 NPCs I know I've never seen yet. You know, I haven't seen that big jar dude.
Oh, you haven't
In
seen
his
him?
original, yeah, to like
Oh, I
knock him
saw
out of his
him.
spot.
Yeah, I did.
Never
I saw that
never ran into him.
on my second playthrough too, I believe.
Yeah,
I
so
was riding
it's
by something I had to do, and I heard him talking, and I was like, "Oh, there's the guy when he was caught in the ground, and I had to hit him out." Like I didn't
yeah,
have that experience my first playthrough.
yeah. So, you know, I mean, I miss that, you know, and it's like, damn, you know, but I met him out there or whatever. But you know, I'm kind of interested to see what his journey was. And the Blackguard, I've never ran into that guy at the proper time that I was supposed to run into him, because you're supposed to run into a girl, and then that girl's supposed to lead you to the Blackguard, and then you're supposed to aggravate the Blackguard, and then he goes down this whole chain line or whatever, this quest line. But I never got to that, you know what I mean? So I can't buy any crabs or any crawfish
Right.
or
I
whatever
didn't have
from
any of
him,
that
you know?
either.
So
Yeah, that little cook
there's,
or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, there's like
I never did that either.
certain, yeah, it's
Yeah, I
weird. It's
never
like
saw
certain
him.
pathways that you have
Hmm.
to follow in the game in order to get these certain quest lines. And if you don't, you're just gonna miss them altogether. You know what I mean? Like I was able to do like the Millicent quest line, and I had seen that girl before, wondered what the hell she was, you know, for or whatever. But I didn't know that I got to go to this little shack over here to talk to Growery or something like that, you know. And then
It's really strange, man, how like the world kind of progresses with you, right?
yeah,
Like as you do things and move on, the NPCs move on too.
yeah,
Like, but in most games, like they sit there and wait till you trigger them, right? Like
mm-hmm.
in most games, like that NPC will sit in that little crossroad or whatever he starts at until you find him, talk to him, and then trigger him, and then he'll move along with you as you move him along on the quest. But with Elden Ring or really any Dark Souls games like this, the NPCs will they'll move on. If you move on to the next zone, that NPC ain't gonna be in that zone anymore. Like,
yeah, especially if you hit,
zone.
yeah, especially if you hit like that certain thresh point where that would have been the end of their quest line or whatever, and something's changed. Like they just won't be there. Like I was lucky enough that I found the Millicent quest line when I did, because I had all of those areas opened up, like all the way to the Halleck tree. So all I had to do was just talk to her. You know what I mean? And then just go to each area where she was at, just keep talking back and forth, bouncing around or whatever until I found her. And then I was able to finish the quest line all the way up to the Halleck tree. And then she was on par with where I was at. on the quest. But like you get to a certain point and she just won't be there anymore.
When you first enter the mountain tops of the giants or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's
the consecrated snowfields or whatever.
There's that dude at the bonfire. There's a dude at the bonfire. He tells you that you
Shabiri or whatever. Yeah.
He tells you, dude, my second playthrough, he was dead. It was just his little corpse with his loot. But my first playthrough, he was there and I could talk to him.
Yeah.
But my second playthrough, he was dead. I went there and it was just a ball of light there, where his corpse. When someone dies, it just leaves their little loop behind.
Yeah, I wonder what happened, because when I've the 2 times that I've gone up there, he's been up there. So I wonder what you did.
I think because I did the frenzied flame almost the moment I could.
So you did it super early.
I wanted to make sure I got it done out of the way, and then I continued playing the game. Yeah, then I continued playing the game with the frenzied flame on my body. Yeah. And so I think there was no need for him to tell me that other option, that other choice. Right. Okay. And so he was just gone. But it's weird. Why not still just have him there and then maybe say, I see you're gonna, he sees that you're one of them or whatever. But they just okay, he's no needed, so he's just dead now. And it's
praise the chaos.
How did this guy die? Yeah, these guys are psychos, totally. Yeah. But anyways,
But yeah, so I got the flame and everything. Yeah, I'm all the way
together, man. We'll have to have a celebration. Go to out for dinner.
Pop a bottle or something like that.
Your very first platinum, man. Congratulations! It's graduating from college, man.
I feel like a true gamer now, man. Once I have a platinum in my belt, dude, I'll really be like a PlayStation gamer, man.
Yeah, you're finally there, huh, man?
Yeah, that's probably gonna. That'll probably be fitting if that's the only game that I've ever platinum. It's just Elden Ring. I don't platinum anything else. Maybe
only 10s get platinumed, right? No, I'm just playing.
Only
even 10s, some are hard. For instance, Last of Us Part 2 and stuff. Some of those are multiplayer challenges. I'll never do them. I'll never ever do them.
Deathloop required a lot of stuff too for their plats, I believe. Yo, what's good, Arachnid?
Nah, I haven't seen a Darth Vader mod for Elden Ring.
I haven't seen that either.
I saw the God of War one. I saw the God of War one was pretty dope.
Oh yeah, man. There's a whole bunch of dope looking mods, for the PC and whatnot out there. I wish they would just configure some type of way that PlayStation would be able to get some of those mods.
I'm actually surprised Xbox doesn't allow the mods.
Right, you think they would
with the mods with Microsoft and stuff.
I feel like they would get a lot more traction too if they allowed mods. There would be a lot more people playing shit on an Xbox, man. If you could just get stuff with mods, because mods totally change games. You saw when Fallout 76 came out, how they were modding the fuck out of it and making it a 3 times better game. Before they did all of the updates and all of that stuff. To add NPCs and shit. They were modding the world to make it look beautiful.
I would have loved to have tried that with Fallout 76, because that was the thing with Fallout 76. It had its flaws, but with the mods, it probably was really fun.
Dude, Borderlands 2 is one of those games that you had to put hours into, dude. Borderlands 2 to freaking man. That's
Borderlands 2 is like Diablo, right? It's where you're kind of it's almost gaming as a service. You just keep playing that. And playing that and getting stronger and getting new gear and getting stronger.
Yeah,
it's just kind of
it was always guns. Those guns, Borderlands 2 it was just so many guns out there, and you had a new build you wanted to try or something like that, or a new level you could get. So it was always fun playing Borderlands. But yeah, so I'm hoping that either tonight or tomorrow night, I can finish it up, because I literally am at that Malekith or whatever boss in the crumbling Farlow or whatever that shit is called. And so once I beat him, I got to get 1 armament, 1 talisman, and
you have to kill that dragon though before you beat that cleric.
I don't think so, because the world is still there. The world doesn't, the crumbling area doesn't change after you beat that dude. So I should be able to find it, but I might try to find him before I do it, just to make sure or whatever. So I'm gonna have to look up a guide.
Go fight the dragon. That dragon's pretty rough, bro.
Yeah, I bet.
Even with my OP bleed build,
Mm,
took a few tries, man. And
yeah.
it's a pretty good little run too to get back to him. So it's
Oh, okay.
kind of annoying. It's a little
That
bit of a
is
run,
annoying.
and he's a
Yeah.
tough boss. But if you want that platinum, you have to kill him, dude. So
Yeah.
I just relied heavily on my mimic, man. With that bleed, he was just slice.
Yeah. I
Crazy.
might just try to summon a couple of people in to help me do it so that I can just get through it quicker.
I'm
I
curious if you can summon it for this one, because this
Yeah,
one's like
I'm
a
not sure.
cutscene.
Is he on an island? Is he on like a
No,
little no? Okay.
you have to like go to this spot, and then there's like this little kind of like there's this row of like graves, and you have
Yeah.
to lay down in one of them, and then
Okay.
it transports you to his boss arena,
Okay.
and
It's like
then you
another
just
coffin
walk
type of thing.
forward. You walk forward, yeah, like a coffin. You walk forward, and it triggers the fight. So I
Okay.
don't know how that would work. I don't know if you can summon
You
somebody
probably can
before
summon
you
him in
enter,
that one.
and then you lay down and they just come with you. I mean, I'm not sure, man.
Yeah.
Like I didn't summon nobody, so I couldn't tell you. But
Right.
anyways, yeah. So that was a rough one too. Although I still think Melania is was definitely the hardest boss
Dude,
in the
man.
game for sure.
She's pretty rough. Yeah,
Although
she's
I was really annoyed that the final boss was immune to bleed, so my build didn't work, and I had to switch my build up. So that caused me some heartache.
you're talking about America or whatever? Because
Yeah, America and the
He's dead.
Elden
He
Beast.
has no blood, so I see
Yeah, both of
why
them.
blood
The
would
beast,
be
the beast doesn't have blood either,
yeah.
and so it's like they're just Elden rings or whatever. And so it's like, what the heck, man? Like that
Yeah.
sucks.
I
So I
have
had
a
to switch my
feeling
whole build up, dude, just to beat that boss.
Yeah, I have a feeling that my holy sword or whatever, the Elden Lord soul, that once you beat the Elden Beast, you get that sword. I feel like that's gonna be like
He's
weak
gonna wreck
against
them.
him. I think Rykard is gonna be the only one. The
Oftentimes,
blasphemous sword is
actually,
gonna be the only one.
I'll say this. Oftentimes, bosses are weak to their own affinity. So,
Really?
like, oftentimes, yeah. So,
Hmm.
like, if a boss is like, blood based, then you want to use blood against them.
Hmm.
Like,
If they're
like
throwing out
rock.
mad holy damage, you think they're or lightning or
Yeah, like
whatever? You think,
because they're all about holy damage. So maybe if you use holy on them, you'll actually hurt them more. I don't know.
hmm.
I'm not saying I know this. I'm just saying like sometimes they make the affinity that they're strong with, but they're also weak to in Elden
Yeah.
Ring.
A lot of times I like to summon the mimic tier with like either with I like to summon the mimic tier with the golden wave weapon, that Elden Lord weapon. I forgot what it's called. But I like to summon them with that, and then I'll equip I'll switch to the right card, the blasphemous blade, because I can just do those repetitive hits and he'll just swipe those waves. But sometimes he doesn't initiate them, so sometimes I have to give him the right card, and then he'll use that
He'll actually
blasphemous
use
blade a bunch of
blasphemous more
times.
than the other one. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, then the other one. So
Well, that's why I really loved my build was because I didn't need him to activate to do the blood
you just
proc.
needed him to attack, and
I just
blood was
needed him
fine.
slicing, and he's doing
Yeah,
what I want him to do. So that's what I really liked once again, like about. But of course, be careful with taking that build because you can't use it on the final boss. Like the
right.
build you have, you can use on every single
Right.
boss.
That's why I decided to go that route, because I know you had told me that you used blood and then you got stuck on the last boss or whatever, and you had to switch again because you couldn't work on that one. And so
Right.
I was like, well, I don't want to keep like switching back and forth, right? I just want to be able to put like everything into one build that's going to be able to take care of everything. And then I got that build that was using the blasphemous blade, and then I was like, okay, I really love this golden wave sword, so I want to juice that one up. And it just so happens that like all I have to do is like increase my dexterity. So I had all the levels and stuff like that I had used on like my faith build, and then I just added more dexterity, and it made the weapon like even more broke. So like I was just, you know what I mean, and it didn't phase me. So I just switched from those two. So like if there's
Yeah.
multiple
I
enemies,
just
that
think it's
fucking
dope,
old wave
man.
will clear them out, man.
I just think it's so cool how that game had so many different routes to becoming OP.
Yeah.
Like in past Dark Souls games, like I've already said this, but it's like in past Dark Souls games, there's only one route. Every weapon was pretty much going to do the similar. Every fight was going to be pretty similar, either melee or magic, kind of all fought the same.
Yeah.
There wasn't these like weapons that you can like juice up or build or learn or combo with to like make them stronger than they normally would be. You just level up. But in this game, man, like you can actually switch up everything, like switch up your gear, switch up your weapons, and you have a whole new like style of play. Like and some of them are really ridiculously strong, man. Like that's what was so cool. That's what I liked about the game the most, really, was
Yeah.
just how awesome it was for you to become like so OP, just for those RPG elements, like
Right.
it's what I'm already missing. Because if we talk about what we've been playing, I know you've been playing Elden Ring, but
Yeah.
I did put some hours in to um Forbidden West.
Oh, okay. So you did
So
play that one. You got a chance to play that.
I've been playing that one. I probably got like close to 10 hours in on it now.
Nice. Nice. How do
Yeah.
you like it so far?
To me, it's like flawed. Like compared to Elden Ring, in some ways, it's flawed. But then there are some like breaths of fresh air compared to Elden Ring, in the sense of like it's got way more modern graphics. So it feels kind of nice to kind of like be back in the modern world. Then you got really, really beautiful visuals, gorgeous character models.
Okay.
But it's super wordy, like all these traditional cinematic based games are, where like there's super long talking cutscenes. The combat's pretty fun, but the world exploration isn't nothing compared to Elden Ring. Like it doesn't even hold a candle to it.
Yeah.
Like the things you do in the world are just not rewarding. Like they're just not very rewarding. Like you go to this little, question mark on the map, and there might be just like one little chest there, and there's not really anything in it. You're not finding weapons all the time. You're not finding. That's what I love about Elden Ring, dude. Is like you're finding
It was
spells,
always
you're finding talismans, you're finding weapons, you're finding ashes, you're finding gear pieces, you're
upgrade
finding
stuff.
lots of fun stuff. Yeah, like
Yeah.
smithing stones to upgrade your weapons and make them stronger. Like these are all like very fun things to find. Like they feel very satisfying that you
Yeah.
can't wait to go to that next question zone or that next spot on the map you haven't been to yet because of what you might find there. Like this is not feeling that way at all. Like the zones it's not fun. I kind of just want to go through and go like quest to quest on the main story just to kind of like enjoy that, because it's not very fun to go off the beaten path. Like I think like this is why Elden Ring was so much better than all the traditional open world games we've been playing recently, like Far Cry 6 or
Or
any of these
Assassin's
games,
Creed
like
or
or
whatever.
Assassin's Creed. They're just not as rewarding for that exploration aspect.
That's
Like Elden
us.
Ring nailed that so well. And then
Yeah.
the combat is just absolutely superb in Elden Ring, that really nothing really compares to that. But the combat is fun in this. Like it's a lot of fun, slowing down time and plopping heads with your arrow. It's fun, setting up that tripwire and letting the machines run into it, and then they, get, shocked, and then you can go to kill them. Like that is fun. It is a lot of fun. It's just not as rewarding to explore the world. Like not even close. Like, but they do shower, like they have these really massive talent trees in this game
Oh
in
yeah.
Horizon. They have like 6 of them. There's like 6 of them, or maybe even more, and they're really massive. So it's
Okay.
kind of like Assassin's Creed Valhalla massive.
Oh,
And
okay.
like every quest you get is like giving you two skill points. Like they kind of shower you with skill points.
Okay.
Like quite pretty.
So you can basically create builds then on that game.
Yeah, but
Is there
it's a
builds
lot
in
of
there?
it's more like you're increasing your damage, or you're increasing the duration in which your slow time is when you're aiming, or you get your stamina back quicker. A lot of it's like skills like that. So it's not really like, it's not like Diablo, like a build,
Right. Okay.
where like you're like changing your skills around. It's
Yeah.
really just like you're adding affinity, different effects to your skills that already exist, right? So it's fine. Like you want to do that. You get stronger. So like you feel yourself getting stronger. It's
Yeah.
just, it doesn't change really the way you play much. There are skills you can get though that you can get, but they're not like where you press Y and you do a new skill. It's more like, oh, do this combination of pressings and you'll do this effect. And it's like those skills always are turnoffs to me, dude. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, where it's like, oh, hold down R2 and then press R1 with the triangle and you'll fire your missile off. It's like, dude, why
Oh,
can't it just be like,
one button.
simple, like press a button and then I do it. Yeah. Like, I don't understand like why it's got to be such a challenge, like with Elden Ring, like you just select the spell and the same button activates it. I love that. How about I just have like the D-pad? I just select the spell I want, and then I shoot everything with the R1 or L2. Everything is with that, but I'm just selecting what I use.
You just
That is
change
so
which one you want to
simple.
use.
You just choose one you want to use. Like I love how simplistic that
Yeah, like
is.
holding an L2 trigger to pull up a variation of a spell or something like that, or an ability, and then using the R1 to shoot that or something like that.
Yeah, like I love that simplicity, you know, like I wish like Horizon had a little bit more of that. So in these ways it's flawed and not as fun, but but the things that it's good at are really good at. Like I said, the combat's a lot of fun and the visuals are beautiful. The world is beautiful. It's just not as fun to play in that world as it is to play in Elden Ring. So that's unfortunate, you know? And so I don't have the gusto to play it like I did with Elden Ring. I had a massive amounts of, you know, motivation to play Elden Ring where I just couldn't wait to play it again. Where this one, it's like, okay, I'll play it. Sometimes I feel like playing it and sometimes I really just don't. So it's kind of like sometimes, oh, I think it sounds fun to play that right now. And then sometimes it's like, nah, I think I'd rather play something else, you know, like something more fun, quick fun, you know. So
I totally feel what you were saying, because like I said, I beat it and then I beat Elden Ring and then I tried to move to something else, but then I was like, I don't have the same interest to play this. You're like I'd rather just go back and play Elden Ring again. But what Arachnid is saying is kind of true in some ways. Like Elden Ring definitely doesn't focus on story, right? The story is kind of, it's there, it's pieced together. I mean, like there's a lot of story there, but it's not spoon fed to you. So you have to go and find the story. You know what I mean? You have to listen. You have to take the time to like gather all the information and whatnot. But its main focus is definitely exploration and gameplay, like or just gameplay in general, because that involves like exploration and stuff like that. But like the combat, you know what I mean? Just all of the stuff that you can find, the reason for you to go all the way and, you know, look in this corner way out in Timbuktu. You're gonna get something. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I'll say this, like, so Arachnid's trying to say that open world, ultimately what he's trying to say is open world isn't a genre. I mean, that could be an opinion that I could understand your point on. However, if a game is going to be open world, then it has to have a fun open world. Like if you're going to make the game an open world, then the open
it's gonna
world
be a good open world.
It has to be enjoyable to be in the world. So, because you could make a combat focused game that doesn't have an open world. You can make a story driven game that doesn't have an open world. For instance, Last of Us is one of the greatest story driven games I've ever played. It's my favorite, actually.
It's pretty open world,
and it's primarily linear. You're just following from kind of mission to mission to mission. Where a game,
but it still gives you that. It still gives you that space, though. You know, to be able to venture off of the beaten path and whatnot. But
The Last of Us doesn't. The original Last of Us doesn't. The Last of Us 2 does have one small zone where you kind of have that freedom, where it's like a micro open world. But I think open world does have an expectation attached to it. So whether you want to call it a genre or not, there is an expectation attached to an open world that you're going to have fun exploring the world in an open sense, meaning there is no direction. You can choose to go where and where you want to go when you want to go there. And it has to be, the world itself has to be fun and to explore, right? So you can do that with story. Where I first Skyrim, what was fun about Skyrim wasn't necessarily what you were finding, but the people and NPCs you're coming across. That's kind of like Bethesda's niche, right? Like what's fun about Bethesda in the open world is you're discovering people and NPCs that are so out there and so interesting and so unique that you can't wait to see the next one that you find. Where with Elden Ring, what you're finding fun is the items and the equipment and the spells that you're collecting when you explore the open world. So both of those games, in my opinion, are doing open world very good, right? Where Horizon doesn't quite do that as good because their storylines aren't that interesting. The NPCs you come across are not that interesting. And also the items you find within exploration of the open world aren't that really interesting either. So it's doing those two things mediocre. I would almost rather Horizon not be open world and be more linear like The Last of Us and put me into combat situations and move.
Now, which one are you talking about? You talking about Zero Dawn or Forbidden West?
Forbidden West. Zero Dawn is still, in my opinion, not as good as Skyrim or Elden Ring in those two respects either.
Mm-hmm.
It's relatively mediocre at that also. But the combat's really fun. Like fighting the big giant machines is like a ton of fun. Fighting those weak points, like that's its strong suit. I don't
Yeah.
think Horizon Forbidden Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, or Horizon Zero Dawn are that great at doing the open world thing. Like I don't think they're that good at doing the open world deal. But they are very fun with their combat. So I just think like there has to be an expectation with open world that comes with open world, that I think some of these games, these open world games, don't have. I think Far Cry kind of is falling into that too, where it's just a big open world for the sake of an open world, and it's not really that interesting to explore. It's not really that fun to explore, So not like Skyrim, not like Elden Ring, not like Fallout. Like these games are really fun to explore because it's so well written, the story and the
There's
characters,
lots to explore,
and there's lots that's unique to explore. Where in Far Cry 6, it's literally repetitive. You're uncovering like the exact same thing, probably about 500 times over and over and over again. Probably
right?
about
And
that
it's a big world, but a lot of that shit is, it's literally just like
it's copy and
redrawn and
paste.
it's just plopped right everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the problem for me with
Same issue I had with Breath of the Wild, man. A lot of that shit was copy pasted everywhere. All those damn goblins all over the place. All the those bosses, those ancient bosses or whatever, in those ruins, those tombs or whatnot that you go into. Like it's all the same bosses and stuff. There was nothing
You're
unique about each
Elden
of
Ring?
them. No, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Right.
Going into each of those little puzzled areas, you go down into the chamber or whatever, and then it's like a puzzle. The only thing that was different were the puzzles. But you get to the end, it's the same box.
But at least the puzzles were unique. So every time like you went into a dungeon, there's a new challenge in a sense because the puzzle was going to challenge you. But yeah, you're right. The boss, that was just copy and paste. But anyways, yeah.
But yeah, Burnout Paradise is a great game too. I love that game, man. They definitely
I don't know why they
make a
never brought
Burnout
out
Paradise
another Burnout.
I don't know, dude. Well, I mean, they've brought out other Burnouts, but not as good as Paradise, man, in my opinion. But yeah, man. So that was all that you had played then, over this little time.
Yeah, and then I also bought Rogue Legacy 2.
Okay.
So I've kind of been switching between Horizon and Rogue Legacy 2.
Okay.
And Rogue Legacy 2 is really freaking good too, of course.
And you haven't desired to just like go full in on Horizon? Like you've been able to like break away and stuff? It hasn't been as enticing as Elden Ring?
Yeah, it's kind of like you know what? I just rather play Rogue Legacy because Rogue Legacy is like it's instant gratification. Like you hop into the world and you're immediately cutting.
Now, is that the one where you go and then you die and then like your lineage comes back or whatever?
Yeah, it's where like you go in the castle, you have your one life, you die, but all the gold you found gets passed on to your child, your heir.
Right.
And then your heir gets to spend it on the manor that you're building, and you get to like buy, a blacksmith, you get to buy a warrior arena, so you become a warrior, and you can upgrade your strength and your health. And slowly over time, as your wealth is accumulated from heir to heir to heir, you can beat each section of the castle with one life until eventually you beat the whole entire castle with one single life. And so it's one of the most brilliant ideas for a roguelike game that I've ever come across. Really brilliant. One of the coolest, unique ideas. And Rogue Legacy 2 is just ups it. Like it's completely new art style, all new enemy types, new spells, new abilities, all new, traits. There's kind of like a little bit of like a, Binding of Isaac aspect. You come into a room and there's like abilities you can pick up now. You can choose one of, like in most roguelikes, you come into a room, you could like pick one. They have
just
that
like
now.
Nobody Saves the World and stuff like that.
Just like Nobody Saves the World,
and stuff.
Yeah, just like that, where it's like it's got that aspect now. So like it's just really good. Like it's really one of the best rogue roguelike games that you can really play right now.
Yeah.
And it's great. I can't really there's not really any flaws for what it is. I highly recommend it, but I like that sometimes because it's just like immediate. Where like with Horizon, dude, it's like, okay, I pull up the game and I was like, okay, what do I do now? Like you gotta kind of pull your map, kind of like, okay, where can I decide? Where do I decide to go? Do I want to go over there? Like you're kind of like in limbo because it's open world for one. And like, the next mission's like 100 kilometers away. You got to ride your horse all the way to it. Where like with Rogue Legacy, I just hop in and I go into the castle and I'm instantly, I instantly receive gratification. Like it's immediate gameplay gratification and it's fun. It's immediate. It's immediately scratching that itch. But then sometimes I want to play that Horizon. Like I really want to play that more meatier combat. Because, Rogue is just basically swiping your sword. And what's fun about it is collecting new items and stuff. But Horizon's got much more meatier combat. Like I really want to go fight those robots again. Like that was so much fun. So I'm just gonna go deal with the flaws of it because I want to do that so bad. So it's like I've been kind of like teetering between the two recently.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's
okay. That's cool. How much was is Rogue Legacy 2? Because I got the first one.
I think it was like $20.
I didn't even know.
I think it cost me $20. Yeah.
All right.
I bought it. It's only on Xbox only.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised it's not on Game Pass then.
I know. I was surprised too, but it's not on Game Pass. Yeah, supposedly it's not going to come out on Game Pass. But because I looked that up, because I was surprised too. But that would have been like a winner, dude. On Game Pass, I would have been like,
that would have been a solid one. Yeah, especially Cloud or something.
But there's some cool ones still that they launched on Game Pass that I want to still play. Like there's quite a few. It's always ones I want to play on Game Pass, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Never gets old.
But so enough of the stuff that we played. Oh, you also asked about Everything Everywhere.
Yeah. What were your thoughts
all at once
on that movie?
So I thought the movie was pretty amazing. I loved that. Like I went into the movie not necessarily knowing about the movie. I just knew it was like, some type of go into like a multiverse or something like that or whatever. But I thought it was interesting how they did the movie and how, basically it was just about like, this woman, who was just unhappy with her life and then coming to realize that, she's just fine. You know what I mean? Like she should be enjoying what she has, you know what I mean? The whole time while she's looking at the greener pastures, you know what I mean? She's got a good thing going for her and whatnot. But like the whole transitions to like the different worlds and gaining the different abilities and like you gotta do weird shit. Like you were right, man. It started off like really mediocre, like switching your shoes, grabbing gum from under a desk and chewing it. Shit you'd never really do regular. Yeah. And then it just up the ante, like kind of like you said, like mid movie when they're shoving like dildo statues or whatever up their butts. Like that shit was like, what is going on? Like when I saw the statue, I was like, oh no.
And when they're fighting with it in their butt,
yeah,
it's like what is wrong with these guys?
He had that little trophy award like up in his shit. He was just clenching it, pause. But like, like he's sitting there doing like all kinds of fucking martial arts, but he's got this shit dangling from his ass like a tail.
Like that'd be like killing you. Like that would have to like be in your body, like penetrate through your intestinal wall, dude, and you'd be bleeding out.
Yo,
you'd be bleeding to death, dude.
I was crying so hard. I was like, "Oh God, no!" When the dude had
I know. I was like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that, man. It's like so dang. Like,
he just took flight and he was trying to land on that bitch. Like, it's like, oh God, like
I know,
come on, man, who would do that?
I know.
Like that's so bizarre. And when the other dude came in and he had the regular like bowling trophy shoved up and shit, I was just like, oh man, this is crazy. But yeah, man, the hot dog fingers and all of that stuff, it was crazy, But
yeah, the bagel is really weird. It's strange, bagel, dude.
All that stuff. Dude, man, but like it's so reminding me of like Kung Fu Hustle. And other like kung fu movie with like the soccer and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like there's like these little quirky movies that kind of just like Kung Fu Hustle was definitely like odd as fuck, like from the beginning or whatever. And this one didn't start really getting weird until like mid, and it was just because they turned up like the weird shit you had to do in order to get like your 90% best choice. You know what I mean? For your other world or whatnot.
Right.
There was some parts where I was just a little confused, like, damn, she should have died, but she was able to go into this other person, and then she manages to come back into her body in this other world and stuff like that, you know. So, but it was that. But you know what I mean, all in all, though, you know, like looking past the weird shit that they were doing or whatnot, I thought the movie was phenomenal. Like I was just like, damn, like they, you know, they took like a you know, like a basic, you know, moral or whatever to the movie, and they just made this like, you know, pretty cool, you know, story around it or whatnot. So I enjoyed the story. You know.
Yeah, I thought I thought it was really, really good. And like I said, until the second half, because not only does it get like really odd and strange, but it does get like a little convoluted, I think, in like what it's trying to like communicate, you know, because I do think like if the multiverse was like a real thing, then everything like the daughter believed, like everything would be insignificant. Like it'd be so infinitesimally tiny. Your life would be so so insignificant. It wouldn't matter. Like she was kind of right. And I think like the writers of the story kind of recognize that, and they're trying to come up with an idea to like combat that truth. And I think it's really difficult to, like, it's really hard to find meaning in such an infinitesimally small situation. And so I think they were trying very hard, and it just kind of like, and like when there were rocks and stuff, like they were trying so hard to try to make points. And it just gets like a little bit like odd and strange, and they kind of lose me a little bit. And so because like that second half occurred, I would have rather it just been like, you're just trying to save the world, you're just trying to beat her. Don't try to like, you know, join her and dive into the whole, you know, philosophical debate or discussion on the multiverse. Just try to like, it should just be good versus evil and like stick to that, because I was really enjoying that. Like her versus the enemies, and they kind of like switch directions halfway through.
Well, I mean, once you find out that the enemy is the daughter or whatever, it's kind of like, you know, so sorry, spoilers. If you guys haven't seen it yet, regardless, you guys should just see it. You know what I mean? But like once she finds out that it's her daughter that's the actual enemy or whatever, then things change. You know what I'm saying? That's her baby girl. Like why would she want to end, you know, her daughter or whatever? You know what I mean? So I understand the conflict, and like, okay, let's not be against each other. Let's try to, you know, to see things. Let's try to see things on the right path, which is weird because they didn't get along in the current life that she was in already. So you know, it didn't. What?
Mommy's having trouble playing out the thingy.
Okay, baby. Well, after I get done
but
with the thing is,
how many more minutes do you have?
Probably about an hour, boo. But I'll catch you later, though. Okay. Bye.
The thing is, like, it wasn't like her daughter who was the villain. It was a variation of her daughter from a different multiverse that got the power, and then that variation was able to hop between all of those her variations.
Right. Because she was able to bring everything.
Her direct daughter in her universe, in her world. It wasn't her in her universe's world daughter. So that's what I'm trying to say.
But at the same time, it was though, right? Because she could see everything. No. The girl was saying that once she was at the point where she saw everything, she experienced everything all at once. So in every world, she was there. So technically, that was her daughter. It just wasn't the.
No. I would say technically, it's not her daughter. You could say like she became her daughter, but I would say technically she wasn't her daughter. She was a different person from a different world that she didn't even recognize.
But she was still experiencing all of those things that her version of her daughter was experiencing. So I mean, that was her, like, in a sense.
No, that's I don't know. It's a different person than her daughter, in my opinion, because the person that was the enemy, she was omniscient. That wasn't her daughter. Isn't that her daughter was just You know, someone trying to live her life, going to college. She wasn't omniscient. Like, it clearly was not the same person. She just had the ability to go from vessel to vessel, just like the main character did. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, I would have rather her just try to destroy that one bad version of her daughter. That would have been like what I would have enjoyed more, I think, than them trying to like figure out the multiverse, like try to find meaning in meaninglessness. But so it just, like I said, like it just gets, and it gets really confused, like out, it goes so out there.
Yeah.
Like I said, with like the rocks and, you know, a world with nobody, and then like the hot dog fingers, and then like, you know, it just gets so, and the guy with the stupid raccoon, like it just gets so bizarre.
The Ratatouille reference was crazy, bro.
That was really funny, but it's just so weird. Like dumb shit it was so weird.
It was weird, but it was still funny as fuck. Yeah,
yeah.
But
like it's trying to be like,
I think it would have been because of the circumstances, right? That woman was in her world, and she was getting invaded because that girl was looking for that particular version that would have been able to understand everything all at once, like she was. So therefore, in order for that girl to be in that version of herself, if that makes sense, she had to inhabit that world. So you couldn't have put her out of her misery. You couldn't have killed the bad one without killing the good one, or the one that you grew up with. Like, you had to end that one, because they didn't meet each other in any of the other universes. It was always in that one where everybody was. She was pulling information from other versions of her, right, to be able to fight in that world. But that girl kept coming to her world to battle. So you would have had to kill her version.
Well, see, I disagree, because, like, for instance, they went to that one temple that was like outside of the universe. I don't know where that was. Where they were like, where they went to like the
all white joint.
Yeah, the all right zone. That wasn't in that reality, so they could clearly move from reality to reality to reality. She didn't have to like stay in that reality. Like, clearly,
I don't even remember how they got into that area,
because they can go and do whatever they want. They're all powerful,
right? But that was that girl's body, though. That woman, the main one or whatever, that was her body. She didn't look different from what she had before. Like, she was still. That was
she didn't look different, because that's just a variation of her, of the infinite versions. Like, if there was a multiverse, there'd be a million or trillion of you that looked just like you, and it had the exact same body composition as you.
Yeah, that's one of those movies that I would have to go back and like study, you know what I mean, to like try to pay attention to everything that I might have missed or whatever. But all in all, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was like A1, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was thrilled with it. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, damn. And then I think I went and saw that movie, and then I went and saw what was it, like Northman or something like that, in the same night. And Northman was putting me to sleep, man. I was just like, Northman was boring compared to everything. So, you know, if I had watched Northman first and then watched everything, I probably would have caught more of Northman, but Northman was putting me to sleep.
Yeah, I like Northman better than everything in the total cohesion of things.
Oh,
but okay, Northman did have some things that I wasn't too hip on either. Yeah. But like I said, yeah, everything, the first half was just like fire to me. And then like the second half was just like losing me. And when you don't end something well, for me, it like leaves more of a sour taste than like great.
It's not that it didn't end well. It's just that you didn't like the way it ended, right? You didn't like that they teamed up and then found
I guess it's an ending reconciliation. Yeah, it's an ending of a sorts. Yeah, it's an ending that, maybe they didn't like necessarily like do something bad. It's just I didn't like where the direction it went. And I do think that it gets a little too strange. I do think they go a little bit too far with that strange stuff. I don't think they had to do that. I don't know why they felt they had to do that.
I think it's just for shock value or something like that.
It's almost, it's like they're trying to shock you. Like, they're trying to like make you a little queasy too. Because it's like a little queasy. It's a little weird, dude. Like,
you got queasy? I didn't get queasy watching it.
It's like creepy. It's like a little creepy. You know what I mean? Like, what they're showing you is just a little bit, a little off. Like, just a little, it's not like total creep, like, checks a chainsaw. Just a little bit, like, just like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, just a little bit, like, I don't know what they're trying to, like, I don't know, man. They were trying to shock you. Yeah, they were trying
Yeah,
deliberately.
for sure. I mean, they did a good job at shocking the shit out of you on the second
Yeah,
half.
they did.
So, yo,
Yeah, they
Arachnid,
did.
Arachnid, if you haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, you should definitely go and see it. I recommend the movie and whatnot. So, maybe you can, next time you join us, maybe you can jump in and let us know, because I know you're a movie buff. So, you should, you might have already seen it anyways. But,
I would recommend it to certain people. Like, I would not recommend that to my mom.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't recommend it to your dad.
But I would
either.
recommend it to Ishmael, right? I would recommend it to like a close friend that I think likes those kind of movies.
Right.
So it depends, I think, because it does go out there that I think my mom would go, why would you recommend that to me? That was too strange. But someone else would like, oh, that was kind of cool. So I would just, it's more niche than like, oh yeah, that was great. Like I would recommend Spider-Man No Way Home to everybody. Like I think that was just a really good movie. Yeah, just amazing. Like it's good for anyone, anywhere. Where this one's very careful, man.
I enjoyed Doctor Strange too, man. I like.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, so don't say nothing on that yet. Because my wife and I are looking forward to seeing how that continues. Yeah, that story, because it builds off of No Way Home, right? I'm assuming to some degree it builds off of that.
It's referenced like one part, and that's it. Like other than that, it doesn't have nothing to do with nothing.
Like that's what unlocks the multiverse thing, right? Like what they did in No Way Home is what kind of like started that whole multiverse thing, right?
It's what they did. I would say that Loki is what introduced the multiverse theory or whatever into the Marvel universe, and then No Way Home, just like piggybacked off of that, right? And had a little bit on there. And this just like really, goes into it or whatnot. But it definitely didn't have like, those are two separate things. And it was literally referenced like one line for like a quick, 30 seconds. And then that was it. Other than that, there's nothing else referenced on it, nothing else that like contributed to this downfall.
Well, I would just think it would, just because Doctor Strange was a big part of No Way Home.
Right. You would think it would. But however, it didn't. But I'm not gonna say anything about it. Hopefully, you get to see it like maybe this week or next weekend or something, that we'll be able to talk about it and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
sure,
we'll go ahead and say that. So, enough of all the other random talk and whatnot. We about like an hour into this. But let's go ahead and get into those topics. So we have a few things for you. We got some Skull and Bones leaked gameplay that we're going to discuss. We have what is it? Some World of Warcraft Arclight Rumble that was announced, and then some other little information about some chips and things like that. But before we do all that, let's go to the intro.
I got you, me.
So, getting into the first topic, we have the Ubisoft's Skull and Bones gameplay that was leaked. Now, we do not have the footage. We would not have shown the footage regardless, because that shit will get struck on the channel like immediately. Even though we ain't getting no revenue or whatever, I would still want to keep the video up, and that would shut the shit down. So we're not going to do that. But yeah, so I know you got to catch some of the gameplay. I've been searching all over for it. I was a little late to the party and I didn't get to see it. But what were you able to demise from that?
Yeah, so it's basically a lot of what we kind of already saw at that one E3 that they showed. It's a lot of that. However, they did show kind of like the leveling up system. It's like an infamy system. Okay. So you're kind of like building your infamy. And the more infamous you get, the more you are more things open up to you. Okay. So like more buying options open up to you, more ships open up to you, more upgrades open up to you.
So it's just getting your ranking up.
Yeah, it's like getting your ranking up. It's kind of like a leveling up, which is really cool, of course. And then, of course, the ship combat looks great, just like Black Flag. What's crazy to me, though, is like if this is what the game is looking like, I just don't know why it's taking so long to launch this game.
It doesn't even look like next gen or anything like that.
Just like Black Flag in a lot of ways, and I feel like they would have really made a lot of money
if they had just
profiting off the hype of Black Flag. Because after Black Flag, we wanted another one. Like we wanted,
and then they had like Assassin's Creed Rogue or something like that, right? Which was like Black Flag just on the seas or something like that.
Yeah, it was the previous gen console Assassin's Creed for Black Flag. You couldn't buy it on the next gen console.
Right.
You can now. I think you can probably buy it, but back
Yeah,
then
yeah, I
it only
think
launched on past gen. But this was like just more like I still feel to this very day, even though I really, 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 really like Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Mhm.
This is still Black Flag. Assassin's Creed Black Flag was my favorite Assassin's Creed, and
Yeah.
it's kind of still like without a doubt. And a lot of it is just I can't tell you how. I feel like we're so far removed from it that I don't know how many people have played it, but it was so they captured being a pirate like better than any game I think anyone's ever made involving pirates.
Yeah,
Like
for
way
sure.
better than the new one on Xbox. What's that one called that you tried? The Sea of Thieves, like way
Oh
better
yeah, yeah.
than
Sea of
like
Thieves
Sea
is
of
ass
Thieves.
compared to
Like
that.
they captured it so damn well, and it was so much fun selling the seas on your pirate ship, and then like assaulting a fortress, and then like fighting other
Man.
ships. Like it was so cool that I wanted more. And this is just more of that. It looks awesome. You can get off your ship, so you can explore on foot. It's not just
Okay.
ship only. You can get off your ship onto your legs, and you can like open up treasure chests, which is cool. You know, like I just feel like they could have really capitalized on the hype of Black Flag and launched this sooner. But either way, I'm excited for it. And I think really what this does confirm is that we're definitely getting it. And then we're going to finally get it soon because Ubisoft came out and confirmed that that footage was real footage, which is one reason why I wanted you all to see it, because that footage was actually real. It was for alpha testers. Like, so it was like footage they gave alpha testers, people who are going to test the game.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting to see that there was a person who was talking over the footage. They kind of gave you like an idea of what you were looking at, what you were seeing. But what's really cool is interesting here is down here. It says Skull and Bones development has been plagued with setbacks. It was first shown at E3 in 2017, right? And has since been delayed several times. The game was originally supposed to come out in 2019. Then it got pushed to 2020, and now here we are in 2022. But it looks like the ship might finally be ready to sell. And I think that's really true. And it says, so far there have been no substantive updates in Skull and Bones from Ubisoft. However, the game's official Twitter account posted a brief clip this morning with the text, "Keep your eyes on the horizon," and a desert island emoji. It's only the second tweet from the account since the aforementioned development of September 2020. So that's really great news. Like that they decided to tweet again, since in 2 years they haven't tweeted, and they finally did like just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Because it was April 29th that this article was written. So this is like, so for me, I'm really excited for this, like really hyped for it. I'm buying this day one. I can't wait to play this because, like I said, Black Flag was a masterclass in pirating, and I think like this is going to be more of that. And so I'm really looking forward to playing this game, man. So like, where were you at on Skull and Bones? Like, where did just in general? I know you didn't see the footage, but
when they had announced Skull and Bones and whatnot, I was like, okay, cool, another a pirate Ubisoft game. But kind of like you, Black Flag is at the the pinnacle of like the Ubisoft games for me. That's the best one that's come out. That's the best Assassin's Creed that's come out for me ever. Like, I mean, obviously that's out of the ones I've played, right? I haven't played Origins or Odyssey. I just, the last one I played was Valhalla or whatever. But I just remember just enjoying just being on the open seas, and then, being able to look at the map, find places, and then going over there and then discovering some buried treasure or something like that. You know what I mean? Like the pirate aspect was amazing. As well, the sea shanties, all of that stuff, it was super dope. So it was always fun to play that one. That probably would have been one of those that I might have, desired to platinum if I was like really into like platinuming games and whatnot. So because of how this got like mentioned and whatnot, it didn't really phase me because I'm not seeing anything, like all the time consistently. It's not, oh, it's coming out, in a couple of months or in a year or whatever. It was getting pushed back and whatnot, and it's been completely under the radar for the longest. You know what I mean? It doesn't get talked about like you just read it, like 2 tweets out of that. Like it's not getting any buzz, besides, oh, there being a new Ubisoft game, that's coming out and whatnot. So until I get to actually play it or actually until I see it, and I've seen like some of the demo gameplay and stuff like that that's been out, and it seems like it's cool, but it'll probably just have to be one of those things that, I just finally get my hands on to determine whether it's up to par. You know what I mean? I thought that Sea of Thieves was like complete shit compared to like even Rogue. You know what I mean? Like just for so I thought it was a cool idea. You know what I mean? But the fact that I don't have my own boat. Like I can't, I don't have my own like gameplay or whatever. Like the moment I, put treasure and bury it, that's cool. But the moment I get off, like that treasure's gone. The boat that I upgraded or put all of this little shit on and tried to style it and customize it in my way, adding storage chests and things like that. All that shit's gone the moment that I log off. So
yeah, I don't know how
like,
you wouldn't make that just a standard thing, like building your own ship. So that's what was so cool about Black
Why wouldn't
Flag.
you just keep the ship that you've got? Like everything that you did on the ship should just be saved, and that's your ship. Like I don't understand it. I thought it was cool that you had like the big ass like brigandine ships or whatever, and then you had like these little small boys, and you had a couple like in between and whatnot that you could choose to get. And it's like, oh yeah, you can find people to join your crew and stuff like that. But like everything that you did, all that progress that you did, is zil. Like the moment you shut it off.
This is not that. Skull and Bones is not even close to that. It's in the footage. You start off with a ship, and your ship grows and gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay.
Everything you do just improves.
Like just upgrading it and stuff like that.
I think you might even get like a fleet. You can even like give a fleet of ships. Or, like,
that'd be dope.
So you can challenge more and more harder, locations and bases.
Right. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't even mind keeping the same ship, like you just got a good sized ship and then that's your ship and you can deck it out with like more cannons and things like that, decking out the captain's quarter, all of that stuff, and that's cool. And then just giving me other unique ships that I can add to my fleet to send them out on missions to collect resources or things like that on some Black Flag type shit. But you know what I mean? Like I just thought that Sea of Thieves was like definitely not it. I can't even see like why. I mean, I guess Sea of Thieves paid buku bucks to Disney to be able to get that IP of Pirates of the Caribbean, to do that merger thing. So I can see why Disney did it, but like I feel like Sea of Thieves wasted money. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like that's not going to be enough to get people to play. Like I can't even do the storyline, necessarily. Like,
you're adding a cool skin to a flawed game, right? So it's not really helping the game at all. I just would say the reason why we're here right now and the reason why this was an article and the reason why people are talking about this game is really just a testament to how great Black Flag was. And if you're watching or listening right now and like you haven't played Black Flag, then I think you would even enjoy it today. Like it was a PS4 launch title. That was like the first game I got on my PS4. It's so memorable. I would recommend, if you weren't a big fan of Assassin's Creed games, get this one because like half the game is like being a pirate. It's not even really Assassin's Creed. Like you're sailing on ships, you're doing ship to ship combat.
I didn't even want to assassinate on Black Flag, man. I was just all about the ship.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, those freaking legendary ships, those ghost ships that were out there in the seas that you came across were epic, man.
Totally epic.
I just wanted to fight those and just knocking down Spanish ships and things like that that you came across and shit. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff was just fun.
Come on, trying to kill those ghost
dude, especially
ships,
the ghost ships, man. It took a lot of work. You knew you were definitely underpowered when you passed by and that big ass shit is in the water blowing your stuff.
That's what I loved about it was because it wasn't just the copy and paste Ubisoft Assassin's Creed. They actually put some work into a whole new way to play. The whole ship thing was all new. Like they
Yeah.
didn't really have a lot of that going on. Maybe a little bit in Assassin's Creed 3, but like this was like a whole new way of playing, dude. And like they put so much effort, like you said, the chanting, the singing, like the feel of this ocean,
Dude,
the
man.
feel of it. Like you almost could feel it through the screen. It's like,
Yeah.
gosh, this is so cool. Like it was just so well realized. I give them so much credit. This is the one game I give Ubisoft so much credit for. Was Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So I really am looking forward to Skull and Bones, like for sure.
For sure, man. So, I'm definitely doing this, but the viewers, you guys in the comments, like, tell us, are you looking forward to Skull and Bones? Is this like one of your day one purchases? I mean, do you think this is gonna like be a flop? Is this gonna be like another Sea of Thieves where it's like a waste of time or what? But
Definitely
let us know.
Not,
Yeah, man, let us know.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next one, the next topic.
Don't even get me started on bug snacks, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that they would probably want to wait as long as possible, but you've pushed this bitch back like 4 years, dude. Like, this bitch better be like grandiose. Like it better be freaking on steroids compared to Black Flag. Like as much as you've pushed it back, is it like what you just all hands on deck to like some of these Call of Duty games or what's going on? I don't understand.
Yeah, for sure.
Why it would have been pushed back, because I would have even loved for it to just have been one of those where they just kept adding updates. You know what I mean? Just making it. Better
like Black Flag and just adding DLCs. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so okay with giving us like free little updates or whatever, and then every now and again like a big DLC or something that just adds like some more open seas, some more islands and shit. I'd have been okay with that, man.
Yeah, we were just like so thirsty for more Black Flag, and then they gave us Origin, which was cool, but Black Flag was still so much better. And so we've been waiting for more Black Flag. So I think we're finally going to be getting it though. So I'm super pumped for Skull and Bones, no doubt.
What is it, Xerox? What's up, man? Thanks for joining us. I mean, I hope it's definitely one of those like most underrated games out there. You know what I mean? Like I want to see this game in action and get to play it, dude. I want to love it because I've been looking forward to something that's as dope as Black Flag is. So if this serves, then I'm here for it, man. I'm ready.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Moving on to the next topic, World of Warcraft Arclight Rumble. That one we talked about that last podcast. I believe Mark had mentioned it, that there was a mobile game coming, and then they dropped this trailer and all of that stuff, and they gave like a pretty good video with the developers talking about the game and breaking it down and stuff like that, and it looks pretty good. But like, what do you think, Ray?
So it completely shattered all my original thoughts. I didn't think it was going to be what it ended up being. Like, I was really hoping, I don't know why, but like I built up this notion in my head that it was going to be like, a handheld version of like really World of Warcraft. And it was going to be like an MMO, and like we could team up and we can like go to dungeons together and we can like fight. It was just going to be simple, like, 4 or 5 buttons. You can even play with the controller. Maybe you can go on the, Sunday go on the console. That's what I was hoping, like a more simplistic version of WoW. Because I love WoW, but I'm not really in a place right now in my life to play a game that detailed. I thought it was going to be like a dumbed down version. So like I was really excited for it. But like this right here is what it is. Like you see, it's like, so it's basically like a handheld, tower defense game.
Tower defense. Yeah. They said it was like a tower offense or something like that.
Tower offense. Like, I don't know what you're doing. I guess like, see, what I was trying to find here, if I pause this game, see how there's like these little gold chunks, I guess. Where's my, that must be down at the bottom. Okay,
yeah. Down at the bottom. So that's like your ether or whatever that you need.
That's like Hearthstone, right? So when your next turn comes around, you get like 5 coins.
Right. You'll be able to drop your bigger guys down, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So this is like,
it's literally a tower defense. Just sending as many guys as you possibly can to get to the other end and destroy that guy's, whatever, his tower or his.
Yeah, definitely. So like this is gonna have some fun to it. Obviously, it's gonna have some fun to it. I was expecting so much more.
You're
like
disappointed?
An actual World of Warcraft game. Yeah. I was kind of a little disappointed. like slapping that name World of Warcraft on there, I think like I was expecting something more in that realm. I feel like this would have been better, maybe like with StarCraft or some other IP, because then I wouldn't have been expecting that in my head. So I had built up something in my head that it just 100% like 180 wasn't even close to what I was expecting.
Question: Is Hearthstone? Does it have World of Warcraft's Hearthstone?
Yeah, Hearthstone is also World of Warcraft. So I feel like everything is like World of Warcraft.
So they're just calling it World of Warcraft just because it's dealing with those characters and
because they're doing more World of Warcraft. It might have been cool if this was like StarCraft, right? Like some of those characters, or just another IP other than just everything being World of Warcraft. But if it was going to be World of Warcraft, then I was expecting a little bit more in that reality.
Yeah. I was just reading Arachnid's.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying, right? Like when you look at this game, it seems very shallow.
Simple as fuck. Yeah.
My first thought was like it's very shallow, like oh, this seems super super shallow. But this will be fun to play on your phone. Like obviously, it's going to be. But you're gonna phone just with your finger playing. You're gonna get like dump hours into this. But there isn't gonna be a lot of depth here, like there is in like Hearthstone or World of Warcraft. Like you're not gonna get as much depth here. But I think it's gonna be fun. I did read that there is going to be no loot boxes. So there are no loot boxes in this game.
All right.
And they're going to limit how much people, it's going to be like weekly limits on what you can buy. So you can't just like pay to win right out the bat or whatever. So,
right.
So basically like that is like, that's all good news. It's just, I don't know, how much how the legs this game will have. I don't know how long this will last and like people's game downloads, how long you'll play this. Right. I wasn't expecting this, bro. Like what do you think?
Yeah, I mean I feel like what Arachnid's saying, like this is like Clash Royale with just the WoW IP
it
on
totally
it.
Is Clash Royale.
I mean, like when you look at this, you're just kind of like, okay, this looks like a mobile game. It just looks like a mobile game. Like you would think that from a AAA developer that they would come with something a little bit more. You know what I mean? When you have things like damn, that name was just on the tip of my tongue. The anime style game that has all those different characters. Genshin Impact. Yeah. How massive and what they're all giving to you on Genshin Impact, and that's a mobile game. Like this should be something that was made for console. That and you can play it on mobile.
See, that's what I was thinking with World of Warcraft. I was expecting like a Genshin Impact kind of game. Honestly, right. I was super pumped for that.
So, and I mean, there's plenty of like MMO type of games and things like that out there for mobile. You know what I mean? They're all just ass, and you would think that maybe Blizzard would try to take that mantle and just be like, hey, we're just the fucking king of MMOs. Like you can't beat us. You know what I mean? We drop them on the on the PC, we drop them on the fucking phone, and we'll drop them on the console too, or whatever. You know?
Hey, dude, what's that game company that they're like a mobile game company and they kind of just like steal? Is it like Gamecraft or Gamecraft or something? And they kind of like they made like a Call of Duty version. They made like all these games that are like basically 100% copies of like games that already existed, but they made like B version of it. Gameloft. It might be.
Oh Gameloft. Gameloft.
I feel like that's what Blizzard's turning into, dude. Like they're just like games that are already kind of like big that have made it. They make their own version. Like they did that with this game. They did that with MOBA when they tried to make Heroes of the Storm. They did that with Overwatch, right? When like that was all popular.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna be surprised they'll probably make their own battle royale game. I feel like whenever something's popular, they just like, okay, well, we know that genre is big, so let's make our own version of it. Yeah. And they're just kind of like straight copies, but with like a little Blizzard flair. Like that's what Blizzard's turning into, man. They used to be inventive. Like they came up with the cool IP. Like they developed the cool idea. Now they're just kind of like stealing, ideas that have already been made and kind of trying to make them better. But I think that's like they were. Yeah,
and I think that's kind of like a revenue ploy, right? Like they need they need a way to kind of get more people involved in their games, right? So, releasing, I don't even know if this game is free to play or not, but releasing, yeah. So I mean, a large majority of the mobile games are free to play, or they charging like $2 or $3 or something like that. Nothing crazy, but I mean, for them to drop a game like this, right? This probably didn't take that much. Kind of like Arachnid saying, like, I take a couple of classes of game developer, and then I'm able to put this out. You know what I mean? And I just got to get a couple of sprites together, and then I'm able to get this working. And there's like on the App Store, there's on the Apple App Store or whatever, there's like a shit ton of games that will be like the same exact thing, just like a different name or like a different type of character to play it and whatnot. And so this is just this is just one of those. This is the basic tower defense. It's just got the WoW flair in it, but they're gonna pump that out, and I would not be surprised, dude, if there's a whole lot more in store for those IPs. I think that Microsoft definitely has plans to try to get like a whole bunch of different stuff out there. I mean, they might have an Overwatch version of something, super stupid and simple to play. You know what I mean? Just using those IPs just cause, you know what I mean? And it
feels like with Diablo Immortals and then this, that Blizzard has just been like struggling, to find their voice again. Like they don't.
Yeah, I mean, they got to get back right with all those allegations and all those issues they have.
Right, and they're just having such a struggle. So I was really hoping that this would have been really something awesome. And I'm not saying this is bad. In my opinion, I don't think this is a bad game. I just think it's underwhelming from what we've come to, I believe, in my experience, expect from WoW or Blizzard, and even the WoW IP in general. Like just something a little bit more awesome. And this kind of just like you said, a AAA kind of, Genshin Impact. Like if they can do it, if Genshin Impact can do it, like how the developers of that game can do it, like how can Blizzard not be able to do something that's dope for the phone? You know what I mean? Like I was really hoping, like, because that's what I've always been so frustrated with. Like everyone has a phone, and so it's like the best market to get into, and yet for some reason all the money is dumped into console games. Right? Like you get like the great games on console, but yet the real market is the phone. And for some reason, you can't find high quality mobile games like at all. I've scoured the internet like for my iPad to find like good games. And there's like so few. Like if you go to
it's a small handful for sure.
Like if you go to Metacritic and you go like to like get iOS games, you know how you can like rank it from like best rated. And like sometimes you would do that for like end of the year when we're trying to find our game of the year. And there's like no games. Like, dude, this is like the most popular medium for gaming is mobile, and no one's making high quality games for it. I cannot understand why. I can't figure out why no one's dumping big money into a great mobile game. I don't know if it's just because it's proven a proven fact that you don't need to. They still make millions of dollars regardless, if you make a great game or not. But it's such a bummer, man. And I just feel like Blizzard is right there along with them. Here's a mediocre, half decent game that you're not going to play, many hours with. You'll play some hours, but I was excited. And so my disappointment's kind of like getting me here, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, so what do you guys think? Does this World of Warcraft Arclight Rumble game, is this interesting to you? Does this seem like something that you would take the time to go ahead and play, or are you gonna kind of like whatever, leave this one out of there? Just sound off down in the comments below. Let us know. Let's move on to the next topic. So we have some information that some chip shortages will continue until 2024. Is that 2 years from now, man? And this is from an Intel CEO. And I mean, that's a little bit of a downer. That's a disappointment that these guys still haven't come up with any kind of an alternate solution to these chips, to make these things. There should be like some way to like recycle some of the shit we have we've been on.
I guess supposedly the machines that make them semiconductors need the semiconductors. And so it's like the I don't want to say hardware, but the infrastructure behind building these semiconductors are also behind in being updated and changed. That's causing an additional delay in like more semiconductor shortages.
So they need semiconductors to make semiconductors.
They need semiconductors to make semiconductors. And so, like, that's the struggle.
They're like, fuck, we're in a pickle, man. What are we going to do? Just use foil, man. Quit playing around. Just put some foil on the ends there, you know? Just tack them on, man.
Yeah, so I guess one thing I took from this, right, I was thinking to myself, it's like, dude, where are you at, man? Is like, if you didn't have a PS5, would you be kind of like over it? And just like, you know what, I'm just going to stick with PS4 again this generation and enjoy my time gaming? Or are you still like would you still rabidly be trying to get one?
Honestly, at this point, you know, with how the developers are, you know, how these game companies are, they've been catering to the fact that they don't have PS5s and Series X's out there like that. I mean, you do have that Series S, which seems to be like readily available. I don't know what kind of fucking semiconductors they're using, but obviously they got plenty of them, so they're doing them bitches fine. But to get this damn PS5 out and this Series X or whatever, you know, they're having some issues. But yeah, at this point, like every game that comes out, there's a PS4 version for it. Every game that comes out for the Xbox, there's a regular Xbox One X version or something like that for it. So you're really not missing out on anything. You know what I mean? Maybe some slight enhanced graphics, you know, maybe a little bit of cool shit with a controller or whatnot, but you're not taking any L's by not having this thing. So for all those people that decided to be resilient and not pay get taxed out the ass for the console to get it, you know, because all these poachers and all that stuff, dude, you got plenty of time, man. Like there's really not that many games that's coming out specifically for the PS5. I think there was probably like only like maybe 4 or 5 that came out within the last 2 years of this console being out that, you know, that were just solely for the PS5. And
yeah, in like 2 whole years, dude.
2 years, dude.
That's like worse than Nintendo, man.
Yeah,
like there just isn't anything that you need this for, really. There's just a few games, right? So yeah, you don't need it for Horizon Forbidden West, the newest game that just launched. You don't need a PS5 for that. You're not going to need it for God of War. There's just no reason to really. I feel like had like we not been like the gamers we were and like we just wanted one, I'd be super fine playing everything on a PS4.
Yeah,
and this isn't really that big of a deal, and I mean, I hope that this kind of like encourages these companies to like plan a little better and maybe even delay, because I think it would have been fine if they delayed this console like a year, even maybe 2, because it wasn't really necessary, and then wait till you have the stock built up before like you release it. Like even if it's going to take you longer to build up, because they come out and they say, you know, we're going to have 10 million units at launch, but now we know they never did because the shortages. Why don't you just wait, you know, like build up your stock, wait till you have enough, and then launch them so everyone can get them, rather than this mess. I feel like I would be tired of being led by the nose, you know, year after year. Hey, we're coming. Hey, we're coming. You know, you just like forget it. You know, I'm just gonna stick with my PS4. You know, screw you. And I'll wait till PS6 almost. You know, it's like I'll just wait till the next generation, because it's just enough is enough already.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if you had held off as well, right, that would have given time for a lot of these developers to just sit on games and to perfect them, you know, to just make them, you know, way much more better. You know what I mean? Just put in time. Like if you were, and to also like create games that are solely for the PS5. Like if you knew you had time to develop a specific game for a console that isn't even out yet, you get to be one of the first games that's out there. You know what I mean? Like the first titles that are out there get the best sales just because of scarcity. Like there's nothing else to play. So you got 5 games or whatever. People are going to buy the shit out of those 5 games You know, so you want to be one of the first games that's out there on day one available. And I think that, you know, a lot of these games would have done well to, you know, have just, you know, been able to wait on the PS5. You know what I mean? And like it adds more value to the PS5 when there's just games that you can only play on the PS5. Like all of this, you know, catering to the PS4 and stuff like that, it kind of diminishes the fact that, you know, there's this like, you know, this item that's like almost, it's like coveted. You know what I mean? Like it's irrelevant now. You know, like the people who got it, you know what I mean, they got lucky enough to get it, or they paid out the ass for it. You know what I mean? And you got nothing to show for
crazy.
that. All that struggle that you did.
Having to fight till now 2024.
Yeah,
that's the nuts, because we're in 2022. Like, yeah, seeing that 2024 is like, that's retarded. And like I always felt that way, Arachnid. Like I always thought that PS5 was unnecessary. I didn't think like they needed to launch that. We talked about that like a long time ago, back when we were doing the whole launch back in 2020. When we were talking about the whole launch of the PS5, it just didn't seem like it was necessary, because PS4 was like at the peak of its powers, man. Like everyone they were still selling tons of them. They were still selling a lot of them, like hand over fist, the PS4s, and all the games can run on a PS4. So it was like,
and they had just dropped that PS4 Pro version, I think, like 3 or so years ago.
Like it was like 2 years prior, like 2 or 3, yeah.
So it's like, you know, there was a solid system that was already out there. You know what I mean? So you could have just held on to that for a lot longer. But I felt like, you know, I don't know. I might have even been okay if like Xbox Series X, you know, had came out and PlayStation just didn't drop a PS5.
Yeah,
I they don't want to play that. They don't want to play that game with them. Like, you know, I feel like the shit got rushed the way it was because somebody tried to jump the gun on everything, and they're like, okay, well, we got something, so let's drop this bitch right now. You know,
PS5 didn't need, PlayStation didn't need as big a reset as Xbox did, for sure.
And Xbox, actually, Xbox really didn't need one either, because they had the Xbox One X. So
yeah, and I like that.
That shit was just out. You know what I mean? Like that was like another 2 or 3 years back. So they could have really sat on that, especially when you still got developers making games for them available. Like, why are we playing this shit? Like, they should have just stopped making the games, make indies available for that shit. And it should have been like a large number of these new games just only available on the Series S or the Series X or the PS5. You know what I mean? And just did it like that. That way it means more. You know what I mean? But having all this stuff out there, dude, it makes it so irrelevant right now. Like, yeah, I don't really, you know, notice any crazy difference. The only difference that I notice when I play these updated systems is the speed. That's the load time.
Yeah.
The load times and how long they're taking. And then, I mean, even that gets diminished by how big the fucking games are that you play on them now. Like, if they're super huge games, it's still going to take a minute for the shit to load. So it's like, yeah, it's loading shit quicker, but it's a lot more that it's got to load. You know?
Yeah, this is why I always just say everyone get a Series S, because you get those load times, and that's really all you need. Because you can play everything on it. Like, there just really is no point in needing to get the best system right now, because it's not worth the hassle, man.
Yeah, it's definitely not. So, you know, you tell us down on in the comments below, you know, does this chip shortage disappoint you? Do you even have a PS5 or an Xbox Series X? Does it even matter? But let us know in the comments down below. Let's get to the last topic of the day that we got for you guys. As soon as it loads. All right, New York City looks like they're suing Activision Blizzard. I guess Bobby Kotick, yeah, is unfit to negotiate the Microsoft buyout. So obviously somebody's unhappy that Microsoft purchased Blizzard. And the reason it looked like they're saying that he's unfit to initiate this buyout was because he had maybe some allegations or something going on with all of that shit storm that was happening over there at Blizzard. You know, with the sexual harassment and the racism shit or whatever over there, sexism, whatever, all that stuff that was going on over there. When that bitch was burning down, Bobby was like, "Hey, yo, you want to buy this? Yeah, I got it for the low." You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
I
he's
agree, man.
out of
Like,
there.
there is something strange about this guy floating under the radar somehow.
Mm,
Like, it would all this stuff happened under his watch.
right.
All this workplace abuse
And I'm sure he was
happened.
letting that shit slide because
Well,
other
obviously,
people that was
because
doing
he
it.
was talented. Yeah, he's letting the talented people be assholes because they're the ones making the money. And
Right.
so that's just what happens. We talked about this before. The talent always is allowed to blur the lines. The talented people are always allowed to be the ones to be assholes because they're the talent. It's just nature. And clearly he was letting it fly and creating an environment in which it could flourish. And then he comes along and is just able to like scot-free. He's faced no allegations. He's faced no punishment. He gets to sell the company, walk away with his billions or whatever. And it's like, dude, that is frustrating, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of can agree this whole escaping liability. Like he was just really quick. The moment it happened, he got on the horn to sell this sucker so he can escape the liability of this whole, workplace abuse.
Yeah,
And he
I'm
still hasn't
sure.
faced any justice for it.
Yeah, I'm sure. The moment that all that shit started catching wind and people were starting to boycott Blizzard and all of that stuff, he was dialing in. You know what I mean? Because
Oh yeah.
a lot of these
Yeah.
buyouts take like months, sometimes even years before they're like finished. You know what I mean? Because all of the little details and shit. But it seemed like, oh, all of a sudden Microsoft is buying Blizzard like kind of out of nowhere. Like fuck, like I didn't even know they were for sale. You know what I mean? It didn't even look like they were getting shopped. But so
Right.
this dude is like, oh shit, man. Okay, we're gonna fire a few of these people, right? Because they like the well-known ones, they expendable. I'm making millions of dollars. So, I gotta get this bitch offloaded before it's too late. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Like I don't think anything can really come of this. I don't say you can prevent it. Because I think it's still in the best interest
golden
of
parachute.
it's still, selling this company is in the best interest of the shareholders, right? Like, obviously, they all get paid. It's going to be above what it was worth at the time when it was on fire. So, like, it's still clearly the decision like everyone would make. And so, unfortunately, I don't know what will come of this, but I do really just feel like Bobby Kotick needs to suffer some kind of consequence, man. Like, what do you do to make this guy who ran this business so horrendously, have some form of, consequence for like the situations that occurred there. He's receiving nothing other than like, yeah, the golden parachute, man. Like that's all he's getting. It's really, it's
was this the same dude that wasn't attending the meetings? Like he left early?
Well, he was just doing like short meetings, like very
It's the same motherfucker.
He was checked out, man. Yeah, he was checked out.
Yeah.
He got his
This dude like, man, I'm out this bitch in about 10 days. So, I don't give a fuck about none of these meetings, man.
You're showing up late. Yeah, showing up late.
Yeah.
To like all company meetings.
Nah. Bobby knew what the fuck he was doing. He was like, shit, ain't my problem no more.
Yeah,
he gone. Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I think he's still at the company, working for the company or whatever to some extent. But yeah, I don't know. My biggest question is, what does this actually mean? You know what I mean? Like, if New York is suing him, what's gonna come of this? You know what I mean? Like, does Microsoft no longer own Blizzard? Like, Blizzard becomes its own entity again, and they get all that money back. And then Blizzard has to pay like fines or something like that, or does Bobby have to pay fines? You know what I mean? I want to know the outcome of this lawsuit and what the purpose of it is for. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Will Kotick end up getting like prosecuted for some allegations that didn't come up or something like that? You know what I mean? Like I want to see what's gonna.
I'm hoping something occurs. Like it's crazy because it says these highly suspicious trades stands to deliver 3 Kotick affiliates a windfall of more than $100 million. It's just like something has to be done. Honestly, like it's not good that he can just run this company into the ground and then quickly jump out and collect like a huge profit from it. And it is interesting that the board chose him Because it says the board allowed Kotick himself to negotiate the transactions with Microsoft.
Insider trading for sure, Arclight.
Right. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Something
You gotta evade
around
some taxes and some
something
shit to get
around there.
vested when
Yeah,
you're rich.
something
Yeah.
around there. Yeah, some type of insider thing, you know.
Mhm.
So it's just even if it's a good deal or whatever, and it's good for the consumer, because I think this is a good move for the consumer. It's a good move for the brand going to Microsoft. All that's good. I'm all for that. But like these guys who do this, destroy a company and then just golden parachute out, like there has to be some way of avoiding that or holding them accountable.
Yeah.
You know, for these types of situations that they
Yeah, and then you know when it's like you would think that there would be right from like the community or something like that, some type of repercussion. You know, maybe he's blacklisted or something like that. But all these other companies see is that Bobby, you know, if however long he was working, he built Blizzard from this to this at some certain point, and then you know some shit went down. So they're just gonna believe like, okay, well we'll hire him again because he can get them to this point, and we'll just monitor him to make sure that it doesn't, you know, end in, you know, a stack of flames or whatever. You know what I mean? Instead of just not dealing with the guy whatsoever. But I mean, he got his millions, so I'm sure he's straight, even if he didn't work another company in his life.
Yes, this is what's so frustrating. This is what I agree with. Why I don't think anything's going to happen. Hogue from Hogue Law, he noted that in the lawsuit, it is a book.
Okay,
a book and records request
I'm almost
relating to the initial demands for records. Its demands included access to the information requested in its original 2021 filing, as well as expenses and legal fees incurred by the lawsuit, and further relief as the court deems just and proper. And while the language is pointed, Hogue said, it's unlikely to have a bearing on the acquisition, which was overwhelmingly approved by shareholders. See, that's the problem. It's in the benefit of the shareholders that this occurred. So it's going to be very hard to stop the trade or the exchange of this purchase. It's going to be hard to stop that.
Right.
But is there a way of preventing this windfall for this dude that kind of like, there's
all
like
those affiliates of collecting.
Affiliates. There's some kind of insiderness to it. Right, where like because they know it's falling and they can quickly sell it, like there's something there that I feel like should be done, but nothing will stop. This will still be purchased by Microsoft, so this is not stopping that. I think it is trying to find a way that'll hold Kotick accountable.
Yeah, so it'll be you know, interesting to come back and look at this after a while and see exactly what, you know, ended up, you know, what were the results of this and what ends up happening to Bobby or the companies or whatever involved, you know. So I guess, you know, let us know in the comments down below if you think this is that this will even hold any weight. You know, will that lawsuit even go through? Will it get dismissed? Will Bobby be found guilty or whatever of not being suitable to hold this trade or whatnot? Or just let us know even what you think this even really means. Like what will be the consequences of this and whatnot. Sound off down below. And that is it. That is the last topic that we have for you guys today. Appreciate you, Arclight, for sitting through with us and chatting, chopping it up with us. Anybody else who watches this video, listens to the podcast or whatever, we appreciate you guys. If you could, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. And until next week, we'll catch you guys later. Deuces.
Peace.
See you.